In this driving lesson video, I'm going to go through some of the important theory questions you should know before your driving test. But it's important to know the answers to these questions anyway, regardless of whether you've got a test coming up or not. The first question: when are you allowed to overtake on the left? You can overtake on the left if the car in front is turning right and you intend to go straight or turn left up ahead. So if the blue car here was intending on turning right, like that, the red car could overtake the blue car on the left if he intends to turn left or if he intends on going straight up ahead. So that's an example of where you could overtake on the left, but only if it's safe to do so. You have to pay close attention to signs and markings in the locality that you're doing it as well. And also in multi-lane traffic, when the traffic in your right lane is moving slower than traffic in the left lane. In that case, you could overtake on the left also. Next question then: what does a red warning triangle on the road mean? If you see a red warning triangle, just like this, it means that there's going to be a hazard or a breakdown about 50 to 75 meters up ahead. So be careful, check your mirrors, indicate if needed, and be alert for any accidents or breakdowns on the road. If you see a white triangle on the road, just like this here in the photograph, this means that you have to yield. So on a roundabout or a mini roundabout, you have to yield to any traffic on the right or traffic already on the roundabout. But if you see the white triangle at junctions like crossroads or T-junctions, it means that you have to yield to traffic on the main road up ahead, not just the right. The next question then: name some people in authority who you have to stop if they request you to do so. So you would have to stop for a Garda or a policeman, a school warden, that would be like the lollipop man or woman outside schools so that children can cross safely. Anybody in charge of animals too, like farmers moving animals across the road, you must stop and obey their directions as they are in charge of that situation. You must also stop and obey flagmen in the case of roadworks. So keep an eye out for roadwork signs just like these. And this sign here is the sign for a flagman up ahead. Another question then that's important to know the answer to is: what does the flashing amber arrow light mean? If you see this particular traffic light, which is flashing amber but pointing in a certain direction, that means you can go in that direction, but only provided there's no traffic on the right or on the adjoining road up ahead. Another question then: what is the difference between the single and double continuous yellow lines? So this is to do with parking. If you see a double yellow line, just like this here, that means there's no parking at any time. And if you see a single continuous yellow line, just like this, that means there's no parking during certain times. So, for example, no parking during business hours or no parking during the times that are stated on the sign that should be nearby. Next question is also very important. What is the minimum tyre tread depth on a car? The minimum tyre tread depth is 1.6 millimeters. Now this is just the bare minimum. You really shouldn't allow your tyre tread depth to get below about 3 millimeters. You can judge the depth of the tyres by putting your hand along the central three quarters, as you can see here in this picture. And the tread depth must be measured in between the black and the white lines here, and it must not be any less than 1.6 millimeters. Your tyre has to have depth for better grip on the road, especially in wet weather. And finally, how would you know if there was a turn-off left or right at night time? You would know there was a turn-off at night because of these green indicator posts here. These will reflect and highlight against your headlights, thereby helping you to identify the fact that there's a turn-off coming up. Sometimes they are also accompanied by green reflective studs on the road, otherwise known as cat's eyes. So if you see the green cat's eyes and these indicator posts, that means you're coming up to a left or a right turn, and it should be easier to identify it. So that's all for now. If you would like to learn more about the theory and the signs, please have a look at these videos here. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.